Hey YouTube, vinyl community, Wes here checking in with my vinyl inbox for the month of May 2017. Geez, we're almost to the end of June already and I'm still just getting this out now, so sorry about that. It's just been tough with my new schedule, making time for videos, but I get them out when I can and hope you enjoy that. So let's go ahead and get into this. I got a pretty good stack of records here I bought in May. I bought far too much. Hey guys, Wes here. I realized after I finished filming the video last night that I forgot to show a couple things, so before we get into the records, let me go ahead and share those couple of things with you since I'm getting ready to film a couple of Vinyl Discovery episodes. So the first thing I picked up, I know a lot of people picked this up this past month, but just thought I would share that I did pick up the Beatles Remaster Edition 2 CD set of the Sgt. Pepper's with this is one with the just the extra disc of bonus tracks. I didn't get the crazy 6-disc set or anything like that, just sort of the basic packaging, just because I was curious about hearing it. This comes with a nice booklet and stuff, and it was pretty reasonably priced on Amazon. And the other thing I picked up, which I sort of briefly referenced last month, I picked up this psychedelia book by Richard Morton Jack, 101 Iconic Underground Rock Albums, 1966 to 1970. This is more of a coffee table book. Of course, he wrote The Endless Trip, which is pretty much the psych music Bible, and it is out of print, very expensive. So it's pretty neat that he released this sort of coffee table book. It only features 100 albums, so it's less encompassing. But it does sort of give you a basic introduction to psychedelic music. It features a lot of the really well-known psychedelic stuff along with some of the lesser-known stuff. So it's a good mix. Again, it's not everything, but it's a good thing, and it's a very reasonably priced book. Very nice, lots and lots of photographs in here dealing with the psychedelic scene, and then goes a lot more into depth on particular albums as well that the Endless Trip didn't. So even though there's less albums featured here, what is featured here is really well documented, and a lot of interesting, and just happened to turn to Sgt. Pepper's there. Just Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Buffalo Springfield. I seem to be hitting a lot of the more well-known stuff here. Mothers of Invention. There are quite a few very well-known albums in here, but yeah, pretty cool book. Very reasonably priced now. I picked this up on Amazon as well, so just thought I'd like to share that with you. So yeah, just wanted to share those two items. Let's go ahead and check out the albums I got this month. First things first, at the end of May is Memorial Day, and that means the Florida Folk Festival. Had a really great time at the Florida Folk Festival this year. The weather was really great. Jim Stafford was there again. Got to see Melanie, a bunch of other great Florida folk artists. And there were a few people there actually selling records this year. In years past, there's been one person that sometimes brings records to sell. This time there were two places that had records, two vendors that had records. It's not just folk music. There are arts and crafts demonstrations. There are arts and crafts, just people selling their work, kind of thing. It's spread out all over the state, all over Stephen Foster State Park. It's a really great festival, really great park to have it at. It's been going on for 60 years or so now. It's just a really great folk festival and a really great time, and I look forward to it every year. So as I said, while I was there, a few people selling records, so I picked up a few things. First thing I picked up here is an album by the group Sweetwater titled Just For You on Reprise Records. Go ahead and take this out of the sleeve. A little bit of water damage, but I was intrigued and feeling in the mood since I was surrounded by great music the whole time, so I went ahead and grabbed that. Only a few dollars. Picked up this album by Fatback, Is This the Future? But it just looked cool. Had to hit it. So Fatback, Is This the Future? Pick this next thing up because I thought Mike might need it. It's related to Bill Laswell, and I know he collects that, but he said he already had it, so I'm going to keep it for myself. It's hip-hop, so I'm going to like it. And that is Time Zone World Destruction Meltdown Remix, John Lydon and Africa Bambaataa. Yeah, on the Celluloid record label. So that was a cool pickup for a couple bucks. Just a 12-inch single, but yeah, it'd be cool to hear this. Sort of some early 80s electro kind of hip-hop stuff. Got a a new age compilation, Standing Stones, I guess it's called. But there's like Rick Wakeman's on here, and weird compilation. It has this sort of embossed thing at the top that says New Age. It was a big thing, New Age music, so I guess they wanted that to stand out. But just a little compilation of New Age music. I thought for a couple bucks I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll find an artist I like on there. And last but not least, something I thought was interesting to find, just sort of in a $2 bin. We got an album here by John Coltrane titled Alternate Takes. Or I guess these are sort of outtakes, alternate versions. Starts off with Giant Steps, Naima, Like Sunny, Cousin Mary, I'll Wait and Pray, Countdown, Body and Soul, and Saida's Song Flute. Yeah, still in Shrink, John Coltrane for a couple bucks. Definitely didn't want to leave that behind. The headliner at the Florida Folk Festival this year was an artist I was unfamiliar with beforehand. Kind of interesting. He played in the Allman Brothers Band for a good time, and this was the weekend that Greg Allman died, and so he was a real close personal friend. So it was a special thing to hear him play, and he dedicated a song at the end, and yeah, it was a really cool experience. And that artist is Les Dudek. When I found out who the headliner was, I went on Discogs and sort of searched out his records and picked up his first 4 records. So that's what this is. Found them all from the same seller for around $10 for all 4. So little, $15 shipped for 4 records is a pretty good deal. He's a really great guitarist. Definitely fits into that Allman Brothers kind of vibe. Played on a lot of other artists' albums. He's played with like Cher and all kinds of different artists. But yeah, a really great artist, a really great guitar player, I should say. Not necessarily a great songwriter or singer. There's a reason why you don't see his albums around very much, just because, yeah, he's a great guitarist, not necessarily a great songwriter. But yeah, just cool to pick these up and have them, and say that I saw him live. This one was from 1977. This one I have here, 1978, titled Ghost Town Parade. Definitely a very bluesy rock kind of stuff, but very soulful, bluesy guitar, jams and stuff. Really good to hear him live. This is Gypsy Ride. I think this was from 79 or 80. 81 is the date on this one. I think this was his last solo album for a while. It's a cool one. And then his debut album, self-titled. Love the album artwork on this one. Yeah, good stuff on here. So yeah, was glad to pick those up and sort of sample them before the folk festival and kind of familiarize myself with his songs and his music. So that was Les Dudek. Next up, we're getting into a bunch of new purchases I made in the month. First thing I'm going to start off with is the Vinyl Me Please album of the month, and that is Fiona Apple's Title. Never before released on vinyl, and this was a really big deal for Vinyl Me Please and their fans. So yeah, it was really cool. I'm not the biggest Fiona Apple fan, but I do like her music, and yeah, it's really cool to have this on vinyl. I do enjoy listening to it. Sounds amazing. They did a really great job of pressing this and everything, mastering it. They did a nice lyric booklet. Not quite full size, but like 10 by 10 kind of lyric booklet here, which is really nice. And then 2 LP, very heavyweight vinyl. Yeah, very cool. Definitely a lot of effort put into this, and I appreciate that. And yeah, it's cool to have this on vinyl. There's the art print for the month. And then I got this little drop-in 7-inch from them as well. It's by the Go Team, The Wrath of Marcy. Yeah, I didn't really care for this too much, but it's always fun when they put a drop in. It's on blue vinyl. It's got a crown embossing on the back. I guess there is a crown as part of their logo there, right above the O and the olives. So, all right, a crown makes sense. I'll take it. Yeah, they put it in this resealable sleeve. But yeah, it's one of those sleeves where the sticky part is on the flap. So if you try to pull the record out, it's gonna get stuck to the sticky part. So that's unfortunate. I mean, and in this day and age, do people really still do that? That was kind of a misstep, but it is what it is. This is a new album by the band The Black Angels, psychedelic band. I think they're out of Texas. This is their new album, Death Song. Really cool group. Really dug hearing this one. Took me a while to get it. I know it came out on Record Store Day originally as a special glow-in-the-dark vinyl. I wish I would have gotten one of those, but just wasn't on the radar at that point. Yeah, really cool. As always, a nice heavy Stoughton jacket. Really nice gatefold. They did a poster. You get a poster of the of that sort of inner gatefold artwork there. Really cool. The inner sleeves, and it is a 2 LP set pressed at Rainbow Records. So that's the only downside of these Black Angels records, is they really do a good job of making a really cool package. But the pressings seem to be always at Rainbow Records, so unfortunately the pressings aren't great. But this one's okay. There's no major flaws in it. It's just not as good as it could be. All right, next thing I have to share with you is a pickup of something I said I wasn't going to do, and the prices on these have gotten way down from where they were when these were originally reissued. So I thought I would just pick up my favorite album of this band, just to give a try to the reissues, and that is Led Zeppelin. And this is Led Zeppelin 3, my favorite Led Zeppelin album. The cool spinning wheel on the front, and I'm really glad that they didn't get rid of this, and they actually reproduced this and did a really good job of reproducing it. Really nice. And of course the gatefold, just like the original. Yeah, I was kind of inspired to think twice about these after Paul did sort of a back-to-back of Led Zeppelin. What album was it now? Remember which Led Zeppelin album. I think he was doing Led Zeppelin 2, because that's the one that the Robert Ludwig mastering got pulled. I think he was doing a comparison of different pressings of that, and the remastered version of that actually stood up pretty well against a lot of the originals, and a lot of the other higher end kind of pressings. So I thought I'd give these a second try, and they do sound pretty good, I'll have to admit. Even though they are from digitally mastered sources. It's pretty high-res digital, 9624 digital, I think is what these came from. So yeah, they sound good. I'm happy with it, and as I said, they're down to around $15 now, so much more reasonable. I may pick up one or two more, just where I have rough original copies. I may pick up some more of these as listening copies, because some of my originals are still pretty rough, and whenever I find other ones in the wild, they're always really rough too. But yeah, and nicely pressed as well. These are pressed at Palace. Yeah, can't complain at all about the pressing. As I said, the only thing I really complain about it is that they were digital sources. But digital can sound good, and all the new albums I buy, of course, are from digital sources, because everything's done digitally these days for the most part. But anyway, yeah. If you're having trouble finding good original copies of Led Zeppelin albums, I can give those a sort of a minor thumbs up. They're good. They're well done. All right, next up, you have to know I love pop music. I'm always checking out the new releases and whatnot. And this one kind of came out from nowhere and made a big splash, and it was a really good song. So I went ahead and pre-ordered the album, and that is the solo debut from Harry Styles. I think it's just self-titled, yeah. Yeah, this has Sign of the Times on it and Ever Since New York. But overall, this is a really good album. The only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't feel like an album. It feels more like a compilation, if that makes any sense. The songs don't really fit together. Maybe it's just the sequencing, but it's not sequenced well. But yeah, it just doesn't really go together as an album. It just feels more like a sort of a mixtape. But the songs are all good. I enjoy all the songs. They don't seem to fit together for me. A nice lyric and lyric book with some photographs and stuff in here. And that's a single LP on Columbia Records. Feels pretty heavy, 180 gramish. And this one's pressed at United, so another one of the bad pressing plants. But they did a good job with this one. It's really flat. It's really shiny. I don't see any major flaws with it, so it's a decent job. Again, on a good day, United is just sort of mediocre. All right, and one other pre-order I had for the month of May. That was released in the month of May anyway. Something I talked about in my response to James's contest, and that is the new one from Perfume Genius. This is his album titled No Shape, just released beginning of May, I think is when this came out. Yeah, Slip Away is the first single off of this album. Yeah, another great album from Perfume Genius. He's a sort of a art pop kind of artist. Really interesting songs, as I said, lyrics that I can really relate to, and yeah, really been spinning this one a lot this past month and a half now. Really enjoying it. And since I did pre-order this directly from the label, I got the clear pressing of it, which is really cool. I kind of wish I would have waited. Vinyl Me Please did a splattered vinyl version that they had in their store, which would have been cool to get. But the clear version directly from the label is nice. Yeah, this is pressed at GZ Vinyl, Czech Republic. They did a good job. They always do a pretty good job, and definitely know you're getting digital sources from them, as I don't think they cut from analog. Yeah, Perfume Genius, No Shape. Yeah, another great album from him, and as I said, I've been spinning this one a lot, digging it. All right, this next stack of records I'm going to talk about, I mistakenly thought my VNYL membership was canceled, and it wasn't, and I realized that they had been charging my card every month for the past 4 months or so. So what happened is I had a bunch of credit built up with VNYL, and I managed to finally cancel my membership, and I had a bunch of credit to spend, so I ordered a bunch of stuff from their store. So this is what I got. First thing I got here is something I never thought I would get. If you remember back, I really didn't like the last album from this artist, and that is Father John Misty. This is his album, Pure Comedy. But yeah, I like this one a lot more for some reason. It's definitely more political in what he's talking about on this one, which I like. The last one was just a lot of relationship kind of stuff, which I have trouble relating to, because I've never been in a bad relationship. So it's just tough when that artists go for that kind of thing. But yeah, this one's political, and I love the hell out of this. So I was glad to be able to pick this one up on vinyl. This is just the regular black vinyl release. Nice Sub Pop pressing on RTI. Always great stuff from them. one of the inserts, or one of the original inner sleeves with liner notes and an essay. I still haven't read the essay. And then the second inner sleeve has lyrics on it. So yeah, cool album by Father John Misty, and I'm digging it. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I never thought I would like a Father John Misty album, but I like that one. All right, next thing I picked up from the VNYL store is the new one from the Dirty Projectors. I believe this is just self-titled. Kind of a dark cover there, but yeah. Another band I haven't really listened to very much, but I wanted to give them a try. Enjoyed what I heard when I sampled. 2 LP set on black vinyl. Third side is etched, but not too much of an etching there. Kind of a boring etching. Mastered by Chris Bellman and pressed at Rainbow Records. Dirty Projectors, self-titled, but I think it's like their 7th album or something. They've been around for a while, so took them a while to get to a self-titled album, I guess. All right, next up is a live album, Gary Clark Jr. Live North America Tour 2016. Another great guitarist. Nice dark nightclubby kind of gatefold. Small insert with some liner notes on it. And that's on the Warner Brothers Palm Tree label. Yeah. A little more muted than the vintage one was, so it's a little bit easier to read, and I think the printing is a little bit larger. I know on the vintage Palm Tree labels I always have trouble reading what's on there. This one's a little bit easier to read for some reason. Alright, the next thing I picked up was College Dropout by Kanye West, adding another one to the Kanye collection. Definitely kind of the album that got me into Kanye. I mean, this one has Jesus Walks on it, and Through the Wire. What else is All Falls Down is on here. Breathe In, Breathe Out. Yeah. Cool album. 2 LP set on black vinyl, Rockefeller Records, and this is pressed at United. All right, next thing I picked up from VNYL, another hip-hop artist, one I hadn't really listened to before, but really dug what I heard, and when I finally got this in my hands and listened to it, I like him even more. Awesome lyricist, killer use of lyrics. This is Watsky with X Infinity. Yeah, reminds me of sort of the early days of Eminem, just how clever he was with his lyrics. This is along the same lines, you know, not comparing him to Eminem, but just a very clever lyricist, and I really appreciate that quite a bit. So really cool discovery for me. Another 2 LP set, and this is on beautiful translucent red vinyl. Really pretty. And this is pressed at GZ Vinyl. And the last thing I picked up from VNYL to mostly finish up my credit. I have one other thing I got with some leftover credit I had that I'll show in the next vinyl inbox, but this is another hip-hop artist. This is Joey Badass with All American Badass. Yeah, and that's 2 LP set on black vinyl, pressed at MPO in France. So yeah, that's cool. MPO is an excellent pressing company, and yeah, it's good to see some hip hop being pressed at a quality pressing plant, which is good. All right, and last but not least, I have here to show you are some Goodwill pickups. Just go ahead and flip through these real quick. First thing we got here is Encore of Golden Hits by the Platters. Really nice copy of that. Thought I'd grab that and give it a listen. Don't have any Platters in the collection until now. Dakota Staten, Dakota at Storyville. Live set from her. Kenny Burrell, Soul Call. Some, yeah, definitely very soulful jazz stuff here on Prestige. That was a cool find at Goodwill. Yeah, I was blown away to find that one. Here's another good one. The Incredible Jimmy Smith, Organ Grinder Swing. Again, really, really soulful stuff on the Verve label. Really nice Goodwill find. Been passing up the Chet Atkins recently, but this one was really clean and had a nice cover on it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And that's a Caribbean Guitar, Chet Atkins. Picked up a copy of Pat Travers Band. This is Black Pearl. All right, and Billy Lee Riley, Whiskey A Go-Go presents Billy Lee Riley. Kind of a barroom, bluesy, white guy kind of thing. I don't know if this is going to be any good, but thought I'd give it a try. They're cheap enough at Goodwill where it doesn't matter. We got more encore of golden hits of the Platters, so more Platters stuff, and these hits albums are nice to have. A Beach Beat album here. Of course, Mikey Bananas and the crew over there at the Grown Man Record Night really like the Beach Beat music. Sort of a type of music that's known for on the southeast coast of the U.S., sort of North Carolina coastal areas kind of thing. But yeah, sort of a doo-woppy kind of beachy kind of music. Cool stuff. Clyde McPhatter, the Drifters, the Clovers, some other groups on there. Here's a classic. Thought I would go ahead and grab it and add it to the collection. And didn't have this one before, but this is Marty Robbins with Gunfighter Ballads. Of course, this one has El Paso on it. Yeah, cool pickup. And last but not least, this is a 12-inch single by Nitzer Ebb. 1985, I believe, is the date on this. This is a really early industrial kind of techno music, I guess you could say. So Bright, So Strong, and Warsaw Ghetto are the tracks. Yeah, very industrial kind of dance music, really cool stuff. So that's my pick. Those are my pickups for the month of May 2017. Hope you enjoyed this long video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments down below if you have any about any of these records you saw tonight. Have a great day, great night, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.